What a day. What a day and another week. What a day and another week. Chat, we're back. We're back. we are so back right now. Let me just throw that out there. We are in fact back. Okay? Uh so so much to talk about. So much to talk about. I feel like I I got a new dude. Okay, I was driving in the Burger King. I was going to get Burger King, and hold on, my music is still playing. I was driving to get Burger King, and I was in the line, and I was getting a Texas double cheeseburger or whatever the Texas Whopper. Texas Whopper, obviously. Why wouldn't you? Texas Whopper is the staple of Burger King. I don't care what anybody else says. It's the best burger, hands down. Hands down, you cannot convince me otherwise. But I was in line. I got the meal, Dr. Pepper. Who wouldn't get the Dr. Pepper? Dr. Pepper to me is like crack in a very it's amazing. It's so good. And it's so good for you too. I don't know why people harp on, oh, well, soda's bad for you. No, it's not. Come on. All that sugar giving you the best sugar high of your life. It's like bringing life back into your lungs. And you can't put a price on that. I mean, you could at Burger King. I think it's like $1.79 for a large. But sue me if I'm wrong. Okay. What a day. What a day it's been. I just hopped off my Twitch stream. Let me hold on. I got to clean up this desk a little bit. Get some of these things out of the way for you. There we go. That's a little better. Put our phone away. We don't need our phone. Phone goes on the floor. New Superman movie is out. We're going to talk about that. Oh my God. I almost forgot. Okay. So I was at Burger King and I got the Texas Whopper. And when I got the Texas Whopper, I was like in line and I was about to receive the gold, the bag, the treasure, if you will. The sloppy goodness of what is the Texas Whopper in all of its glory. I was being handed the bag and I commented on the worker's nails. She had flawless nails for days. Why can't my nails be like that? I have something wrong with my thumbnails, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. I've had it wrong. I think I've had my thumb smashed in doors way too many times, and now it's just permanently fucked. But that's besides the point. I was in line, and she was like, oh my God, thank you. I was like, yeah, you're welcome. You know, you probably had a long day. You need a compliment. Everybody needs to be complimented. Who doesn't want to be complimented on their nails? Absolutely. And so she's like, you seem like you're a lot of fun. Do you want the last Burger King hat? I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, we have one more Burger King hat. I was like, okay, I'll take it. Dude, I've had this hat for a week. Best decision ever. I forgot how fun wearing a Burger King crown was. And don't come at me in the comments with, oh, he's a racist for wearing the Burger King hat. Fuck off. That was one dude on a plane, okay? Yes, I know what you're talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? No. If you're probably hearing it, there was a gentleman that was on one of these planes, and he just blared the hard R. Okay, we're not doing that here. We don't do that. Okay? Let me just throw that out there now to all the people that see this, and they're going to try to pull that fucking card. No, go somewhere else and do that. We don't do that here. We got the hat because it's stylish. I'm also staring out the window right now, and I'm seeing like a bunch of hornets, which is making me think there might be a hornet's nest that we have to get taken care of. And they don't look like regular hornets. They look like those hornets that are like real cocky bitches. Like the hornets that are just like, I will fuck you up if you get near me, like without a hesitation of a doubt. You feel me? I think, so that's got to get taken care of. But besides that point, there's been guys, so much has happened. So much has happened. And a topic, I know we talked about Marvel last week. Did you guys like that thumbnail? Look, I'm not Iron Man. My Photoshop skills suck. We're getting there. They're getting better. We're talking today about the Superman movie. Haven't seen it yet. Read a lot of reviews. Oh, also, let's just revisit my little escapade on Ironheart, and how woke Disney is getting, apparently. So, allegedly, well, not allegedly, they did. It's confirmed. Disney has taken down bad reviews of the show Ironheart. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time. But wait a minute. By the way, did I even introduce the podcast? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dan Cave. I'm your host, Danny Costa, and today we're going to be talking about the Superman movie. Okay, we got that out of the way. Listen, Ironheart. Ironheart is an interesting show. If anybody's unfamiliar with Ironheart, Ironheart was a comic book series made to replicate Iron Man. Okay, there's a young black woman named Riri Williams, and her story is she's originally from Chicago. She's the next great mind of the generation. What happened to Peter Parker? I don't know. Nobody knows. What happened to Shuri? I don't know. Nobody knows. You know, we literally said in one of the Iron Man or in Spider-Man Homecoming, or I'm sorry, Spider-Man Far From Home, Tony literally gives Peter the glasses, right, to his entire system, saying he's the new Tony Stark. Like, Marvel set that up. And now we're saying Riri Williams is. It's a huge plot hole. And people are just ignoring that. Also, just so everybody knows, Riri Williams, the story is so bad. It's a bad story. It's why it's one of the worst selling Marvel comics in history. So what happened was they came out with the show. Robert Downey Jr. is saying you're a racist if you don't like the show, when in actuality, the show was just horrible. I mean, like, there were parts that they melded together pretty well, and there were some good themes, like, I'll give it that, but it just wasn't a good show. It just wasn't. So they got all these horrible reviews, and now Disney got all of these reviews taken down. Now it's saying that it's at 86% Rotten Tomatoes. Another perfect example of wokeism. You know what I mean? Like, look, I don't care if you lean left or right. I get it. I get it. But in instances like this, when it's clear, when you're manipulating media to get whatever fucking point you want to cross, like, we see, you know, and people see that. You're not pulling a fast one on us, Disney. You're not. But that's, you know, hey, look, I'm not here to talk about that. We covered that enough in the last episode. I want to talk today about the Superman movie, because the Superman movie, for anybody that doesn't know, the Superman movie has come out, and it's getting mixed reviews, saying that it's a woke film. Now, here's the thing. I can understand Disney's affinity to have this image for itself because of that. I get that. I understand that. But for the DCU to come out with their first film and for people to already call it woke, it's obvious there's a trend going on. And the Superman movie, from what I understand, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. James Gunn directs it. Let's just look up some facts. Superman movie box office number, project box office tracking. Let's see what's going on. Superman is tracking for a strong box office opening, with initial projections ranging from $95 million to $135 million domestically. The film is projected to have a strong global opening weekend, potentially reaching $200 million, according to Deadline. The movie has already seen significant success with pre-sales, particularly in China and during Amazon Prime member screenings. Yeah. So, you know, James Gunn is directing it, for those of you who don't know who James Gunn is. And let's just look at the cast real quick, just so everybody knows. Superman movie cast. Let's look at, so we have David Cornsweet as Superman, who, from what I hear, played a pretty damn good Superman. Already played. Rachel Brosnahan, I hope I pronounced that correct, as Lois Lane. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Okay, look, I didn't realize the name Nicholas Hoult until I looked him up. Nicholas Hoult played in Jack and the Giant Beanstalk or whatever. It was a movie back in 2012, I believe. Horrible movie. Horrible movie. Coming to redeem himself as a prime character, Lex Luthor. I'd say that's a pretty solid comeback. Millie Alcock as Supergirl, Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, Maria Gabriela de Faria as the Engineer. A lot of solid names in here. Frank Grillo, Michaela Hoover, who else? Sean Gunn. A lot of Wendell Pierce. For those of you who don't know, Wendell Pierce played as one of the big hotshot lawyers in what's that lawyer show called? Suits. For those of you who hasn't seen Suits is a really good show on Netflix. Go check it out. It's good. But Wendell Pierce plays a pivotal role in that cast, in that show. Really great character, really great actor. What else? But yeah, so Superman, let's get into it. So this movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. We all know who Superman is. If you don't, go look him up. You don't need to explain who Superman is. It's Superman. Who doesn't know who Superman is? If you don't know who Superman is, go do your research. Drop a comment below. Let me know. You know who Superman is. Let's not play this game. From what I understand about the movie, we're going to go see it this weekend. But I feel like it's important to talk about now because it's a hot topic. That's what we're here to do. We're here to cover hot topics. From what I understand, Superman was a good movie. It was a good introduction into the DCU. Okay, so for anybody that's unfamiliar, Marvel Comics is also, what does DC stand for? DC, what does DC stand for in DC Comics? Because you have Marvel. Detective Comics. Okay, I never knew that. Never knew. Basic information. We learn something new every day. Don't judge. Look, I'm very familiar with how the MCU is operating right now. It doesn't look good. It hasn't been looking good for a while. Fans have been wanting the OG MCU to come back. There's a lot of controversy right now surrounding, is it going to stand the test of time at this point? We don't know. Here's the thing about the DCU. DC has come up with some of my favorite movies. And that's what people need to understand about this. When it comes to Marvel, has more of a lighthearted side to how it's presenting its comics, how it's presenting its stories, its movies. DC has been, and maybe to other people listening or watching, has been a lot darker. There's a lot, the themes are darker, the characters are darker, and it's a little bit more relatable in a way. It's a little bit more humanizing in a way. But what they're doing with this first movie, the first installment to the DCU, is they're taking a Marvel approach. When you look at the intro, okay, so bear with me for a minute. Marvel, the MCU has a history of, very colorful, very vibrant intros and all these different things. When you would look at DC movies, before this Superman came out, I would even argue with Aquaman and a couple other movies like that as well. They're starting to kind of go down that same path. James Gunn stepped in, very famous director with the MCU, stepped in with, and let's see, what movies did James Gunn direct for Marvel? So just to give you kind of an example, James Gunn directed Guardians of the Galaxy, all of the movies, and the holiday special. So James Gunn is known for this kind of quirky, colorful directing style, comical relief, things like that. Almost like Taika Waititi, I believe is his name. Again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But James Gunn is known for being this kind of director. And so he took that skill set and said, you know what, we're going to go to DC. I'm going to bring my skills to DC. And so the DCU, in my opinion, now I don't know if this started with any of the other movies. I'm going to assume, from what I understand, that the Superman movie that James Gunn directed, the one that just released, is the official start of DC's new DCU to compete with the MCU. And I feel like, you know, for the most part, from what I understand, he did a really great job. He made a really great introduction to the DCU, and you have to. Marvel's at a low point right now. DC has a great opportunity to come in and steal a lot of the fans from Marvel and bring them over to DC. I think you have a great opportunity here. The problem is people are so used to this idea of wokeism now, and you see it with Disney so much. And so people were paranoid of this with the Superman movie. And I believe there was one instance in the movie that people had attributed to being woke. But to me, that's not what woke is. It's the first movie to a series, right? You're introducing new characters, you're introducing all these new things and elements and stories and locations and backgrounds, all these different things. So it's hard to really understand if DCU is going in that direction, right? Now we can attest this to the comics. We can do that. But realistically, if the character is right, and I've said this in my last podcast, if it feels natural and the actor or actress is right for the role, I truly believe that that really doesn't matter unless, and we're seeing this with Harry Potter right now, unless a character is specifically described in a way in a story and you're completely taking a different character and implementing them, you convey so many different unwanted themes across the entire spectrum of the movie, especially if it's a pivotal character. So Superman, from what I understand, has one scene like that, but it's not a pivotal character or role from what, again. But one thing that the movie did really well was it was a good story progression from what I understand. But again, something that I was afraid of, and something that you see in the Marvel movies a lot now is this comical relief, punching like just an endless stream of comical relief. It's something that just needs to stop, When you watch a movie with characters, superheroes, you need to feel, and I will say this repetitively, you need to feel a connection to them. And so from what I understand in this movie, there were some serious parts in the movie, some dialogue that was had between characters that was just broken by comical relief. And then even at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, I'm going to throw this out there. Well, I shouldn't throw it out there. I won't do that. But because I even haven't seen the movie yet. There are moments, I will say this, there are moments in the movie that should not have been broken by comical relief. And it just goes to show how disconnected the director and the cast and everybody is from the audience. The audience is craving this. You need that connection. Don't be afraid to go into those moments. I don't know why this is such a big deal now. I don't know why this is so hard to just create a movie where you can have serious moments. You don't have to throw a joke in every 10 seconds. This isn't like a sitcom. It's a piece of cinema. It's an intricate story with intricate characters and all these different elements coming together to create, hopefully, a masterpiece. But you can't do that now because all these directors, all they just want to do is break the script with some sort of comedic whatever. And it really takes away from the movie. Let's look at some comments about, let's go to Reddit real quick. I want to look at some comments about the film. Let's see. The discussion. Okay, so first one that pops up. Official discussion. So let's see what we got. Pa Kent was so sweet in the movie. They really nailed the awkward, sentimental dad vibe. My biggest takeaway was that Nathan Fillion's Green Lantern is the best version of the character they've ever done. He was a standout, honestly, but the whole Justice Gang turned out to be great. Gunn just knows how to do media about a gang of endearly stupid misfits. That's what we saw. Yeah. That's what we saw with Guardians of the Galaxy. But again, with Guardians, like, here's the problem with the DCU already. is people are asking for these moments. Like, you had so much of the serious Marvel that it was, and but people didn't question it. It was just nice to introduce comedic relief. It was nice to introduce that band of misfits of Guardians of the Galaxy. That was the thing. That was their thing. And it worked with Thor because it humanized Thor. It made Thor relatable. But then you carried it on into every movie now, and it just gets tiring. And now we see the same thing with Superman. And Superman, I just don't think is that character. I just don't think he is. I think when I think of comedic characters, I think of Spider-Man, right? I think of Spider-Man. I think of the Flash a little bit. I think of Johnny from the Fantastic Four. Like I think of these characters, and I think, yeah, their lines should be centered around their personality, obviously. But Superman never gave me that. Anytime you watched him in the shows, he was always more serious. He was always more, you know, and he was like that in the movie, from what I understand. But it was those core moments that broke that connection. And so, and for the first movie, I just don't know if they did it right. I really don't. Um, what was really cool, from what I understand, is I'm just catching myself now saying this. I'm saying from what I understand, in the movie, they introduced Crypto the dog, super dog, and there was a moment where he again broke the tension. I thought it was really cool that they introduced Crypto. Um, there's a lot of wiggle room for that there. Introducing uh, a sidekick into a movie is always, it's all everybody wants to see the sidekick. There's always an underdog element to that. I think it's really nice. I think you create an extra layer of relatability, and I think right there you have that sort of comedy, that back and forth. But I heard that towards the end of the movie, um, Crypto is used in a way to again be that comic relief, and it just wasn't received well. I'm not saying that this is a bad movie. That's not what I'm saying at all. I hear great things about it. And I'm gonna go see it. I want to see it. I just tire of this new age media where I feel like we have to we can't dig deeper. Like we're afraid to feel something in a movie. If we're afraid to be vulnerable around other people or feel something deeper, like God forbid we reach a little bit deeper when we're watching a film, or it's like that's one of the great things about film. That's one of the great things about art. It makes you feel something different. And when you connect that to a genre where now all you expect to feel is humor and nothing else, it gets tiring. You want something new. You want to feel that. So I think it's great. I think it's we're gonna go see it. It's gonna be a good movie from what I understand. But there's just little things here and there that are concerning, I will say. So that's really all I have to say on that. Um Superman, it was a solid movie. I just worry about the DCU. I was excited for this entry, and if it's like experiencing modern day Marvel all over again, there's no reason for me or anybody else to really not anybody else. I'm just gonna say for me, because this is how I feel. There's no reason to go to the movies anymore. Wait till stuff comes out on streaming. By the way, what are streaming numbers doing now? Streaming numbers on Netflix. Streaming numbers on Netflix vary widely by title, but some popular shows like The Night Agent and Ginny and Georgia have garnered hundreds of millions of hours viewed. Netflix recently released viewership data for over 18,000 titles, revealing the most watched shows and movies. Wednesday and Stranger Things are also consistently popular with millions of views each. Interesting. I never really knew, like, I feel like streaming is in a weird phase right now. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I feel like streaming is in a weird phase where like when I go on Disney Plus and I want to watch like something in the background, like that's what I'll put on there. And I don't feel like Disney has enough content out right now to really keep people on the platform. Netflix and HBO, like all these platforms need to come together and just create some sort of deal where you can just stream each other's content on there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you can watch Netflix exclusives on HBO for X amount of time, and maybe that'll draw you to the platform. I don't know. Look, I don't know how it would work. Just sue me. I'm saying is we're so like forced to, not really forced, but we're so um pulled by all these different streaming companies now. Like everybody wants to go private on all their titles, and now you're seeing so many different titles being removed from streaming services, and all these places want to, all these media moguls want to have these services, and it feels boring to watch. They're not coming out with content quick enough to stay relevant or watchable, you know? So, and again, maybe that's a reach, but I feel like every time I scroll Netflix now, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to watch the same thing? I can't tell you how many times I've thrown on Avatar: The Last fucking Airbender as white noise because there's just nothing else to watch on the platform. There's nothing. The only relevant platform I've really seen so far is HBO Max. I've been a fan of HBO Max lately. If anybody, let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about this? Do you like HBO? Do you like Netflix? I'm curious. I'll tell you what, I've been a really great fan of the show From. Anybody seen From? Hold on. Actually, you know what? That's what we're about to get into. Also, I don't know if I told anybody last week. Look, guys, sue me, okay? Last week I said we were going to talk about The Anxious Generation. Have I read it? No. Am I reading it? Yes. Am I putting it off? Kind of, yeah. You know, I've been so ingrained in my stream. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to get into details. It's a good book. I don't have the affinity to read all the time. I'm Gen Z. I just found out I was Gen Z. I just had the most stark realization. Gen Z is 96. You know that? Everybody's like, no, it's 90. It starts in 97. Nope. Not what I heard. I heard it was 96. And I say this all the time. In the recesses of my balls, I always felt like I was Gen Z. It was like the heavens opened up and God rained down right on me, gave me all of his light and said, Daniel, you are Gen Z. Dude, it was such a weight off my shoulders. It was almost like coming out all over again, you know? Truly. I always felt this disconnect with being a millennial. Who the fuck wants to be a millennial? Who the fuck wants to be a millennial now? For real. Like, I just, maybe I'm in limbo still. Maybe it just hasn't set in. Some people are going to be in the comments in denial. No, you're not Gen Z. You're not Gen Z. You're millennial. You're in denial. I'm in denial. You're in denial. Okay? Let me live. Let me be in my moment. Let me be Gen Z. Okay? I've just always felt like the way that I have spent time on social media and just how I have kept up with trends and how I am, bro, let me be with Gen Z. Let me be with Gen Z. Okay? I just don't feel like a millennial. I feel too cut off. Also, I just looked at this picture. It's freaking me the fuck out. From, that's what we're going to talk about. Anybody see the show From? Let me just set the scene for you, okay? There's a family. There's a family of 4 driving in a van. They're on a road trip. Oh, my voice just cracked. Sometimes I really feel like I'm going through puberty still. I really do. And I don't know how to feel about it. From. We're following this family. Guys, I'm all over the place today, and the only reason for that is like I'm delirious. I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, I just streamed for 3 hours. I got a crap ton of videos to edit after this, but we're making it happen, guys. From let me set the scene for you. So, From is a show that takes place with a family of four. Family of four. You have a dad, a mom. You have a teenage daughter. I want to say she's 13 or 14. And you have a younger son who's 10, 8, 9, somewhere around there. They're on a road trip. They're on this back road. There's no real turns. When I talk back road, we're talking there are pine trees left and right. It looks like they're driving somewhere in back roads in Montana, Nebraska. I don't know. Let's just say you're in the middle you're in this van. You're van lifing. All these fucking influencers now. His family is van lifing. They're on this road trip. No rights or lefts. It's all straight road. Roads look pretty clean too. I don't know what the county they're driving in, but they look like they take care of the roads pretty well. And they're driving on this road, and as they're driving, they're having conversation, and suddenly they come to a slow stop. Okay. They come to a slow stop, and there's a tree in the middle of the road. This tree is just there. Okay. They don't know why it's there. And you started this ominous music ambience. The ambience gets dark. The dad gets out of the car. The son gets out of the car. They walk up to this tree, and as soon as they walk up to the tree, they see crows. Huge wad of crows. A wad of them. Not a flock, a wad. A wad of crows. And as these crows circle, they fly off. Very ominous feeling. And so the dad and the son say, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. We're going to go back in the car. We'll turn around. We're not going to move the tree. We won't touch it. We're going to turn around. They turn around. They start driving again. Again, they're not making rights or lefts. They're on a straight, narrow road from what we see. And all of a sudden, as they're driving, again, didn't turn, went back the same way they came. They suddenly come upon this abandoned town. And it's this town that seems run down. There's a few houses. There's a diner. There's a playground. There's a pool. The pool is empty. The playground's run down. The diner's shot, right? Like, there's these people walking around. And they're paying no mind to the van. They're not paying any attention to this van. And so they keep driving. The dad's like, well, I want to stop. Let me talk to somebody. They try stopping, talking to people. He rolls down the window. Nothing. They're completely ignoring him, like they're dead, right? They keep driving the van. Well, it turns out they turn around and come back another time. Now you can tell it's getting later in the day. Right? Clouds are starting to form a little bit. They pass this. So now they pass the town. They're driving down this road, same road that they've been driving down. They didn't turn around the van at all. And they drive through the town again, same way they came through. And they again roll down the window. They're trying to talk to people, and now they're starting to see okay, they see us, they acknowledge us, but people still aren't talking to them. So the mom is getting freaked out. They drive around. They drive through again. And as they're driving through the second time, it cuts to one of the people in the town. And it's these two gentlemen talking. And they are talking to each other, and they're saying, okay, should we tell them, let them drive through one more time, and let's tell them. So again, the family, they drive off, and they are still on the same road, still not making any turns. They didn't turn around. And so they drive through the town a third time. When they drive through the town the third time, they stop the car. And when they stop the car, the dad rolls down the window, and he's frustrated. He's like, why is nobody talking to me, basically? And so the gentleman who is saying maybe we should tell them, walks up to the dad and is like, I know this sounds weird, but there are creatures in the forest that if you don't come with us now, if you don't find shelter with us now, you are going to die. And the show just cuts to dark and it starts. And I'm like sitting here. I love thrillers. I love psychological thrillers. You're going to throw that at me and then start the show? And mind you, this is like psychological thriller kind of horror. Like there's some gory scenes in this. I want people to understand. But it's a good show. I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now. 96%. 7.8 on Prime Video, but fuck Prime. No, not fuck Prime. IMDb says 7.8. Guys, you got to watch this show. It's on MGM Plus. Has anybody ever seen the show Lost? This is the directors making a comeback after the travesty that was Lost as a finale. Lost was a good show. Lost was a good psychological thriller. I enjoyed the show, but it got bland. And it got stale, and then the ending was just crap. It's like I crapped my pants, right? Little smell. You smell that, you think it's a fart, but it ends up being a shart. You end up shitting your pants a little bit. That's what Lost was, okay? You need to go watch From. If this sounds like something that you would like, I promise you would love it. And you wouldn't just like it, you would love it. It's so good. And the sad thing is a new season isn't coming out for a while. The main actress and actors, Boyd Stevens is Harold, plays Harold. He's like one of the main characters in the show. Hannah Cherami plays Julie Matthews. Catalina Cedina Moreno, Avery Conrad. Lot of cool names in here. Scott McCord, Elon Bailey. I mean, just you have a great cast, right? Robert Joy, AJ Simmons, Cynthia Hicks, Kaylin Ohm, Elizabeth Saunders, great actress. Ricky Hay. Who else? I'm reading names right now. Reed Price, Deborah Grover, Angela Moore. I mean, it's a good cast. You guys got to check out the show, man. There's 3 seasons out, and I think they're coming out with a 4th in 2026, 2027. I can't wait. I cannot wait because they leave you on such a hanger. They leave you on such a hanger in season 3. And I'm just like, oh my God, bro. It's just such a great show. You just don't find shows like that anymore. You don't. I don't care what anybody says. You don't. And I just can't wait for this show to come out with season 4. It's just such a good show. Dude, has anybody else lucid dreamed before? I had this dream last night. Okay, I'm not even joking when I say this. We gotta put on our serious faces. We were sleeping last night. I can't remember the last time I had a nightmare. Okay. Now, I don't know if people understand what lucid dreaming is. It's basically putting your body in a state of shock where your muscles are relaxed and your mind is in a place where you can manipulate your dreams. Let me look up the definition so we're not confusing anybody. What is lucid dreaming? Lucid dreaming is when you become aware that you are dreaming while you are still asleep. This awareness can range from a simple realization to the ability to control aspects of the dream, like the environment, characters, or narrative. Essentially, you're conscious within the dream state. So the core of lucid dreaming is recognizing that you are dreaming rather than simply experiencing the dream as reality. Okay, we need to dive into this. I want to know what the opposite of lucid dreaming is, because that's what I experienced last night. I got like 2 hours of sleep. I had such a bad time trying to sleep. And when I was sleeping, I was laying down, and I'm like getting chills as I say this. I was laying down, and as I was trying to fall asleep, I felt like I was dreaming, but I wasn't. I It was like a good dream. And I knew that my eyes were open. I knew that like I was falling into sleep. Like when you lay there and like you're just so relaxed and like your eyes are there but you can't move, right? I think that's from your muscles collapsing and you get put into a almost your body's like a state of paralysis, like your brain is telling your muscles not to move anymore, like just chill, relax. Um and so I was laying there. I thought it was a good dream. Then all of a sudden I hear the door creak open. And when the door creaked open, I like shot up. Like my half of my body shot like a quarter off the bed. I'm like leaned like imagine with me if you will. I'm laying straight down, like legs out. I'm laying on my back, pillows, head on my pillow. My eyes are open. My muscles, like I can't move my body. And all of a sudden, I hear the door creak open, and my eyes shoot to the door, and my body comes up just enough off the pillow that I'm like, I think I'm dreaming, but I'm not. I don't know. I hear the door creak open, and all of a sudden, it's pitch black, but I see this silhouette of a woman. She's all black. And when I say black, I mean pitch black. Her whole it's a silhouette of a woman. She has a ponytail, and all of a sudden, I see little glints in her eyes, and she rushes to the bed. The alarm starts to go off in the house. I'm thinking this is all it felt, guys. It felt so real. I'm I'm not even joking. It felt I heard the creak of the door, the pitter patter of the footsteps. I felt the pressure of her knee on the bed when she was standing right next to me. I could hear her breathing, right? Like I could feel the gust of the motion of her arm, the slight gust of her arm as she's holding a knife. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? And all I'm doing is she's inches away. She's looking at something else at the door. The alarm's blaring. I'm thinking all this noise is going on, and my husband reaches over and taps my arm and is like, "Babe, you're okay. You're okay." I'm trying to scream. I'm literally I am screaming with my mouth closed. I am trying to scream, but I can't. My mouth it's sealed shut. So I'm going, like that. I'm not even joking. You can ask my husband this. Anybody who knows me, FaceTime me. My husband literally touched my arm and goes, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Wake up, wake up." I punch the air as fast as I can, and I wake up out of this. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Ever. Ever. Never have experienced anything like that in my life. And all I remember him saying is, "It's okay, it's okay. You had a nightmare." And I didn't say anything. I couldn't say anything. I fell back like he was saying this to me. I'm hearing him, and my head just collapses on the pillow. I'm still awake. I'm thinking about what just happened, and I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I really don't. I do not know what happened. So anybody out there that's a psychoanalyst, or they want to give me some free advice, I'm all ears. Did I just go through like a night terror or something? Like I have no clue what the fuck happened. And by the way, to all the conspiracy people out there, yeah, it was, to answer your question, it was witching hour. It was 2:43 a.m. And you can bet your ass that I watched SpongeBob episodes on TikTok and I fell the fuck back to sleep. I got no sleep last night. I was terrified. And the worst part of it all is this whole thing played out, and the only thing that is rushing through my mind is like I couldn't do anything to save my husband. Like that's what kills me the most, you know. And all this just happened. I could not do shit. I was paralyzed with fear. I had no clue what was going on. And it was crazy to me. Crazy to me that it happened. I just don't know, like, what's a night terror? Like, what's a night terror? A night terror, also known as sleep terror, is a sleep disturbance characterized by intense episodes of fear and panic during sleep, often involving screaming, thrashing, and other physical manifestations of distress. Unlike nightmares, night terrors typically occur during non-REM sleep, primarily in the first part of the night, and the individual usually has no memory of the event upon waking. Okay, so so I remember the whole thing. So somebody please explain to me what happened. Like, I'm not even joking. I even explained the whole thing to my husband this morning. I had no clue what happened. No clue. Like, I vividly remember the entire thing. And it's just that, okay, so now this freaks me out a little bit more. In most cases, the person has no recollection. Okay, so let me look this up. Can you remember night terrors? Generally, individuals experience night terrors do not remember them the next morning. Night terrors occur during non-REM sleep. Night terrors versus nightmares. I don't know. Let me look this up. I had what is sleep paralysis? Sleep paralysis is this temporary inability to move or speak occurring while falling asleep or upon waking. It's a state where the mind is conscious, but the body remains paralyzed, often accompanied by a frightening hallucination. This is what it was. Sounds like it. By frightening hallucinations. While not dangerous, it can be unsettling and is sometimes linked to other sleep disorders. This seems like what it was. So I experienced sleep paralysis for the first time. Truly. I never remember having any other instance like this in my life. And I never want to experience. I would not wish this on the worst enemy. It is terrifying to sit there and your mind is racing and you see everything that's happening and you cannot do. You feel you're almost like, the way that I would describe it is like you are vulnerable and you're in this state of you are so high that you can't move. You cannot move your body as much as you want to. You can't move. And that's the strange thing about it is like my body was up. I was up. So what the hell is happening? And why am I how can I remember this? It's like a mixed dose of like sleep paralysis with like, I don't even know what the fuck. Like, it was just crazy. And the crazy thing was I couldn't move until my husband like touched my arm. And even then it took I could hear him. Like, there was so much going on. I could hear him I could hear him. I could feel his touch on my arm. I couldn't do anything. And all of a sudden I remember my hand just jolts like this. It wasn't even a fist. I remember I jolted forward as fast as I could. And then I just collapsed on my pillow and I could not fall asleep. Crazy. I don't know. I want to share that because I don't know if anybody else has experienced sleep paralysis before. It's just a crazy experience. But nonetheless, that's all I have to say on that for now. You think of that what you will. Leave comments below if you've experienced something like that. Let me know. I would love to know. But with that being said, look, guys, I talk about mental health all the time on this, and I feel like now's kind of an important thing to very important. It's very important. I want people to understand that this is something that I talk about all the time on this podcast, even if it's briefly. It's always important to talk about mental health. And something that, people may not know is my grandfather had Alzheimer's. I'm a huge advocate for it, finding a cure. So with that being said, as I've mentioned in previous podcasts, please consider donating to the Alzheimer's Association at www.alz.org, or the Cure Alzheimer's Fund at curealz.org. Both organizations are doing incredible work in research support and advocacy. The Alzheimer's Association also offers a 24/7 helpline at 1-800-272-3900 to provide information, support, and guidance at any time, day or night. Guys, if you know a loved one that has Alzheimer's, please go seek out the help that you need. It's tough doing it alone. When I saw my grandfather in the state that he was in, it sucks. I was just old enough to remember what it was like. And to see somebody in that state, it's not fun. And I will say that I will continue to say that it's not. It can debilitate relationships. It can really mess with your head. You know, seeing a loved one forget about you is just it's one of life's cruelest diseases. And if you know somebody or a loved one that has Alzheimer's, please go seek out the help that you need. I'll provide the links and the resources below. Please feel free to check them out if you feel inclined to. But that's all I have to say on that for now. Again, all about mental health here, but I kind of just want to pivot into something a little bit different than some of the stuff that we've been talking about. I think, look, a lot's been going on this past week, and something I want to touch on really quick is I've been putting a ton of hours into streaming, guys. A ton of hours into streaming. And I really want people to understand that this podcast brings you so much joy. I'm going to keep bringing you the podcast. I know I was going to do 2 episodes a week, but I think I'm going to still stick with 1 for now. And I say that because these podcasts, you know, they're really something special to me. I think they're good for just 1 week at a time. And a lot of my hours now are spent streaming and optimizing my other social channels and stuff like that. And I want to still bring you guys a good experience here. And I don't want to diminish that by just saying I can push out 2 videos a week. So we're going to continue with 1. We're going to continue with 1 because I feel like that's good. And that's, I'm pushing it a little bit right now with it, but it's good. It feels good. We're still going to get it out there. But streaming's been fun, man. If somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh, dude, I love streamers, go check me out at Danny Costa, Danny__Costa on Twitch, at DKCOSTAA on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram for all the shorts, all the highlights, all those things like that. Guys, it's been a good day today. Man, we talked about a good bit. We talked about it. We talked about a decent amount. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with this podcast. It was just kind of like a mixed match of whatever the fuck came to mind. And that's exactly why I started this podcast in the first place. Maybe you listened to it for 20 minutes and you're like, this motherfucker's crazy. Oh, well, maybe you try. I don't care. Look, I do this because it's fun. I love bringing it every week. And that's all I have for you guys today. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you feel like it. You can also find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. You can find the full video version on YouTube, and you can also find us on TikTok and Instagram by searching at the Dan Cave Podcast. You can also find my streaming socials at DKCOSTAA on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. On Twitch, it's at Danny__Costa. And look, we're having fun over there. It's fun, man. Hey, look, great news too. In like a week, I hit over 1,000 subs on YouTube. Crazy. I think when I started recording this podcast episode, I was at like 1,200 subs. You know what? Where's my phone? What am I at now? I just want to show you guys what you're working with here. I think I was at 1,200 when I started this podcast. Let me see what I'm at now. We'll do a live check. 1,274. Okay, we're growing and we're having a fun time, man. Real fun time. So if you enjoy streamers, go over there. You might find something that you like. I'm always offering, again, advice, just chatting, chilling, reacting, gaming. We're building a PC, which is fun. Going to do a live stream on that. Maybe do a subathon soon. But it's all good. Guys, if you like what you heard, leave a comment below. I'm always checking the comments, or click the link below to fill out the form where you can share your story and get some advice in the Costas Corner. I would love to start that, maybe. But hey, as always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I just want to reiterate, I'm so appreciative of being able to do this and providing this for people. I don't know if you like it or not. If I'm getting better, I'm getting better every week. I just really appreciate you guys, whoever's listening, that's tuning in and showing support and showing up. It means a lot to me. Because there's so many other things going on right now, and I'm in a very good part of my life. Just going with what I know is right, and going with my gut, and it's working, and it feels really good. So thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll catch you up next Thursday, like we do every Thursday, right here at 6 a.m. MDT. And if I'm missing something, I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments again. I'm always checking them. So I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Toodles.